Hi everyone, Steve from Reshift Media here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what retail marketers need to be thinking about as part of their planning process to emerge from COVID-19. So the first place to start when you're making a plan like this is to understand where you are. And the first thing we need to look at is the fact that people's habits have changed during COVID-19. 85% of Canadians and 96% of Gen Zs have reported that their buying behaviors have had to change during COVID-19. And 29% of Canadians say that they're buying things online that they would normally buy in store. None of this is surprising. Obviously, as people have had to stay home, as stores have been closed, people have had no choice but to change their behaviors. In fact, we're seeing that 38% of consumers made a click and collect purchase in March for the first time or the first time in 6 months. That means almost 40% of Canadian consumers who tried click and collect were trying it for almost the first time. And only 40% of Canadian consumers actually say that online shopping was part of their normal behaviors ahead of time. So these people are now having to incorporate online shopping to their normal buying habits when they wouldn't have been doing so before. And a bit of a surprising stat, at least I found, was that almost 10% of Canadians who made an online purchase in March said it was the first time they've ever made an online purchase, or at least the first time in the last 6 months. So that shows that people who have really never really embraced online are having no choice but to do it now. So again, for you as a retailer, what does this mean for your consumers? And what does this mean for their habits coming out of COVID-19? From our perspective, the way we're looking at this is that this means that e-commerce is really table stakes now. Because people have been forced to adopt online, this is going to accelerate online adoption in this country. We're going to see people, even coming out of COVID-19, that have a strong preference to buy online. So for you as a retailer, you need to embrace this and you need to look at how you can optimize your buying experience to suit the needs of your customers going forward. And a few things you should be thinking about. One of the big complaints customers have had is that not the entire product catalog is available online. Obviously, product outages have been a problem, but in some cases, retailers haven't even put all of the products available on their website. So that's something for you as a retailer to consider is how can you make it easier for your customers to buy 100% of your product catalog? You should also look at what your fulfillment options are. Delivery, click and collect, curbside pickup, things like this. How can you make it as convenient as possible? You're probably doing this through COVID-19 anyway, so you should be thinking about what does this look like after COVID-19 and how is this part of your normal process? And a big thing a lot of retailers don't pay enough attention to is mobile. So even when people are at home, they're still buying on their phones on that small format screen. They're sitting on the couch, they're making a purchase. Your average consumer isn't getting up and walking to the home computer necessarily. So you really need to optimize your buying experience so people can quickly and easily buy things on their phone, which may even lead you to think about in-depth app, gives you that rich immersive experience to make the buying process even better. You should also be looking at your trends. As I mentioned, we've put together a few videos for the Retail Council on overall industry trends. Those are great, but your data is even better. So look at your sales data, both online and offline. Are people buying different products? Are they buying at different times? Look at your website traffic. What pages do people visit? Are they looking at different products? Google searches. Are people searching different things before they come in your website now? Are they adding additional terms? Are they looking for products that might be out of stock? And the big thing a lot of retailers don't pay enough attention to is their social media feedback. Look at what people are saying on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms. Are they asking for features and functionality you don't have? Are they asking for services you don't provide? Look at those and incorporate them into your planning going forward. Companies who are very nimble will be best positioned to be successful coming out of COVID-19. And on that note, make sure your plan is ready. So we are seeing leading indicators that perhaps people are going to start buying even before stores reopen and the economy starts to phase back in. So there is the opportunity where perhaps an online-only plan is really viable for you. You need to be ready that as soon as your data shows that customers are starting to buy, you have a marketing plan ready to go. And if it's online only, perhaps it's heavier on Google and Facebook. And I really encourage you to not just turn on your old campaign. The world has changed quite substantially. Consumer behaviors have changed quite substantially. Look at your campaigns and rethink them. This is a good time to look at how your messaging might need to change, but even your marketing mix. Maybe you need to look at rebalancing your ad portfolio to something different than you would have done pre-COVID-19. And one thing that's for certain is the companies who are most nimble and who adapt the best, they're the ones that are going to win in this post-COVID-19 world. And they're the ones that are going to be able to acquire customers most quickly when they do start to buy again. The last thing is to make sure that you measure, you assess, and you adapt. So things have changed quite dramatically for consumers and in the industry. It's not business as usual. In fact, we're calling it business as unusual. So you need to have a plan, not just what you're going to implement, but a plan to measure the effectiveness of that. So what metrics are you going to look at? How frequently are you going to look at them? And how can you be as flexible as possible in your approach? I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it gave you a few ideas in terms of how you can be planning. If you have any questions or you'd like to see any of this information, I would be more than happy to share it with you. You can get a hold of me through the Retail Council of Canada, or feel free to email me directly at steve@reshiftmedia.com. Have a great day.